I recently found myself caught in a nightmare, and I'm still trying to make sense of it all. My girlfriend and I had been together for 4 years. We met in college, moved in together 2 years ago, and everything seemed to be going well, or at least I thought it was. We had talked about marriage, kids, and building a future together, and I believed our relationship was solid. Then everything collapsed. It all started one Thursday night when I got off work early. We'd landed a big client. So my boss let us go home early to celebrate. I decided to surprise my girlfriend with her favorite sushi. When I got home, though, everything changed. I walked in quietly, using my key to enter the apartment, and was about to set the sushi down when I heard unmistakable sounds coming from our bedroom. For a moment, I stood frozen, the sushi bag feeling heavier by the second. I could have walked away and pretended I didn't hear anything, but I couldn't. I needed to know for sure. When I opened the bedroom door, I saw her with a man I didn't recognize. They didn't even notice me at first, so I cleared my throat. They both jumped, and I calmly asked, "What is this?" My girlfriend scrambled to cover herself, her face showing no guilt, only annoyance. She snapped, "You're supposed to be at work," as though I was the one doing something wrong. The man quickly grabbed his clothes and mumbled that he didn't know I was her boyfriend. But honestly, I didn't care about him. I focused on her. "How long has this been going on?" I asked. "It was just once." "Get over it," she said, rolling her eyes. Then she added something that stung deep. "He's better in bed anyway." I was stunned, but I didn't say anything. I simply nodded, turned, and left. That night, I stayed at a friend's place, turning off my phone. I spent hours just staring at the ceiling, feeling numb. The next morning, I woke up with a sense of clarity. I knew exactly what I needed to do. I called work and took a personal day, then contacted our landlord to give notice and end the lease early. The apartment was in my name, so I was able to handle it quickly. I also called the utility companies to disconnect everything. By noon, I had taken care of it all. Next, I separated our finances. We didn't have joint accounts, but I removed her as an authorized user on my credit card. She had been using it without my permission, but that was over now. I went to a coffee shop to clear my head, ignoring the flood of texts and calls from her. By 4 p.m., I briefly turned on my phone and saw 17 missed calls, 36 texts, and 9 voicemails. I didn't listen to any of them. Instead, I texted my buddy asking if I could stay at his place for a few more days. He said the couch was ready. By 6 p.m., I was back at the apartment packing my things. I knew she'd be at yoga, so I packed quickly and left the key on the counter with a note that the lease was ending in 30 days, utilities were cut off, and good luck. Just as I pulled out of the parking lot, I saw her car pull in. Our eyes met for a moment, confusion on her face. But I didn't stop. The next morning, I woke up to 43 emails from her. She was frantic, sending everything from angry accusations to desperate pleas. She couldn't take a shower because the water was off. She couldn't watch Netflix because the internet was gone. She couldn't even order food because the car was declined. The last email came at 2:37 a.m., simply saying, "Please call me. I'm sorry. We need to talk." I didn't respond. I wasn't sure if I was still in shock or just numb, but I felt nothing. No rage, no heartbreak, just emptiness. A week passed, and things started to unravel for her. I wasn't entirely truthful in my last post. When I called the landlord, I didn't just ask about the lease termination. I gave notice to end it early. There was a clause that allowed it for a fee equal to 1 month's rent, which I paid up front. The landlord gave her 30 days to find somewhere else. She went to the leasing office in tears, only to find she couldn't afford the place without me. She didn't have the credit or income to qualify for it on her own. It gets worse. The man she cheated with is married with a pregnant wife. I found this out when she showed up at my office after several days of me not answering her calls. She caused a scene, screaming that I had ruined her life over one mistake. Someone recorded it, and when I watched it later, I heard her mention the guy's name. A quick Facebook search confirmed everything. He worked with her, and he had a pregnant wife. I decided to message his wife, just the facts, no drama. She was devastated, but grateful for the information. I even sent her screenshots of my ex's emails, which showed the affair had been going on for months. Not just a one-time thing like my ex had claimed. Yesterday, all hell broke loose. My ex called me 19 times in 2 hours. When I finally picked up, she screamed at me about ruining her life. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" she shouted. I calmly told her, "You made your choices." She broke down crying, saying how sorry she was and asking what to do now. She even begged me to turn the utilities back on and let her move back in. This morning, I got an email from her listing a series of demands. She wants to move back in, have me pay her rent, turn the utilities back on, give her access to her credit card again, and talk to the guy's wife. I don't know where to go from here. Part of me wants to just walk away and never look back, but part of me is still processing all the pain and betrayal. It's been a couple weeks since I last updated, and things have settled into an odd new routine. First, the good news. I've moved into my own place. It's smaller than the apartment I had with my ex, but it's in a better location, closer to work, and I even have a rooftop deck where I can have my morning coffee. A friend and a few others helped me move last weekend, and it's starting to feel like home. As for what's been going on with my ex, after I ignored her request for help, she sent me a lengthy email. This time, it wasn't just about her mistakes. She started blaming me. According to her, I didn't compliment her enough, I worked too much, and I didn't meet her emotional needs. Classic blame shifting. I didn't reply. 2 days later, her sister called. We'd always gotten along, so I picked up. She said she wasn't taking sides, but wanted to know if I could help with the rent, claiming my ex was really struggling. She admitted that my ex had made a huge mistake, but thought it was unfair for me to cut off all financial support. I told her there was no support to cut off since we'd always split expenses. The only thing I paid entirely was the internet, which I realized my ex had been telling her family was my responsibility. The sister fell silent, and that's when I found out my ex had been portraying herself as financially dependent on me for years, even saying the apartment was too expensive for her, when it was actually her idea to live in a fancy place with all the upgrades. Her sister later texted me to apologize, saying she needed to have a serious conversation with my ex. Then the bombshell came. The married co-worker my ex had been seeing was under investigation. His pregnant wife had gone to HR with proof of the affair, including screenshots I had sent. Both the co-worker and my ex had been using company time for their meetings, which was a violation of company policy. They were both placed on administrative leave. I found out when my ex showed up at my apartment drunk, mascara running down her face, pounding on my door at 11 p.m. She was yelling at me, saying I ruined her life and that she'd probably get fired with nowhere to live in 2 weeks. She tried to force her way into my apartment, demanding I help her, but I refused. I told her I wasn't her solution anymore and closed the door. The next day, I got a text from her sister apologizing again, saying my ex was staying with her for now. I didn't respond, and things quieted down for about 3 weeks. Then I ran into a mutual friend who told me that my ex and the married guy had both been fired, and that the pregnant wife was filing for divorce, naming my ex as part of the reason. I didn't feel any satisfaction, though. Her life was falling apart, but I was just exhausted by the whole situation. I didn't want to keep thinking about her or the drama. I focused on setting up my new place, bought some plants, something my ex always thought was too much maintenance, and started rebuilding my life. Now, over 2 months later, things have improved. I got a promotion at work, complete with a salary bump and new responsibilities, and I'm enjoying it. My new apartment feels like home, and I'm settling into my routine. I even started cooking actual meals instead of living on takeout. As for my ex, I got an email from her out of the blue with the subject line, "Closure." At first, I almost deleted it, but curiosity got the better of me. It wasn't what I expected. She apologized for everything, admitting to lying, manipulating, and taking me for granted. She said she was in therapy and facing uncomfortable truths about herself. The part that hit me the hardest was when she said that every time she betrayed me, it wasn't just cheating. It was the lies, the manipulation, the way she took advantage of my stability. She ended by saying she didn't expect forgiveness or a response. I sat with the email for a few days and finally replied with a simple, "Thank you for the apology. I wish you well in your journey forward." That was the closure I needed, and I haven't heard from her since. Through mutual friends, I learned that she's still staying with her sister, but has a job interview in another city. The married guy tried to reconcile with his wife, but she went through with a divorce. Their baby was born last week. As for me, I've started dating again. Nothing serious, just casual stuff. I met someone interesting at a friend's birthday party, and we talked for hours. We got plans for dinner tomorrow, and while I'm nervous, it's in a good way. I still think about my ex sometimes, usually when something reminds me of a memory or when I pass a place we used to go, but the pain has faded. I don't feel that sharp stab of betrayal anymore. It's just a faint ache that continues to disappear. I think someone was right when they said that the opposite of love isn't hate. It's indifference. I'm finally getting there. Thanks to everyone who followed my story. Writing these posts helped me process everything, and your comments reminded me I wasn't crazy for feeling the way I did. Life goes on, and surprisingly, it's looking pretty good from here. For those asking, yes, I'm good now. The date went great. No, I don't miss her. And for those saying I was too harsh, nah,